Hey guys, welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles! In the last episode, we had a very lengthy cross-examination and a very convoluted one. And now we are here at this point where we are supposed to present someone who is responsible for tampering with the scene of the crime. So, I really have no clue at the moment. I really can't imagine, it's definitely not Susato-san, it's not Mr. Strongheart, it's not Mr. Gregson, it surely is not Mr. Natsume, it's not Wilson. I could imagine one of the Gyarados doing it, but I really don't know. I mean, there's no way Mr. Shorms did it. Could it be Van Ziegs? I mean, we don't know if he killed Mr. McGilded or not. That is to be seen still. It wasn't the victim, but these two were at the crime scene. I mean, I don't think that Patricia did it because she is way too a cheerful person to do that, but maybe Mr. Beat, Constable Beat did it? Because we had... Oh, now I can't go into the court record, but if the crime scene was on his beat, he would have been responsible and stuff, and maybe he just didn't want that. So that might be the case. So it's either one of these two, but I don't think they're that evil. That would be really evil. And he is sleepy all the time. So I'm actually gonna go with the Roly Beat. Let's go. Obviously, there's only one person it could have been. Constable Roly Beat, it was you! Oh, I was right. Okay, cool. What? A policeman? A member of Scotland Yard? What nonsense! Why would my Roly do something like that? There's no one straighter than my husband. Nobody walks more tirelessly for the people of London. Mrs. Beat, you said in your testimony that your husband asked you to go to a nearby police box to fetch the officer on duty. The 15 minutes that you were absent from the scene is the only opportunity anyone had to tamper with it. You're making it up! It's all nonsense! It's all lies! What about the Japanese man with the whiskers? I bet it was him! He did it!
Objection.
If that was true, Constable Beat would have seen him do it. Oh! And forgive me for pointing it out, but when you dropped your bouquet, Mrs. Beat, it was after the defendant had fled the scene. Oh, well...
Objection.
First you make accusations about the landlord and his wife. And now you incriminate a policeman as well. But your accusations lack one important thing. You claim the crime scene was tampered with. But there is only one reason anyone would commit such a reckless crime. To hide something. That's right, he's right! But my husband and I just happened to be there, that's all! So why would we have anything to hide? It doesn't make sense! You've offered no motive for this alleged tampering. And until you do, your accusations are nothing but empty threats. Constable Beat had a very good reason for wanting to tamper with the scene of the crime. That's the key to this entire affair. Mr. Naruhodo, have you managed to solve this mystery? Counsel, you have made a very serious accusation against a London police officer. If you are mistaken, I'm sure I need not point out that your reputation as a lawyer will be irrevocably damaged. With that stark warning in mind, you will now explain to the court the motive for this alleged tampering. Yes, my lord. Constable Beat's motive for tampering with the crime scene was to hide where the victim fell because he didn't want to be involved. where the victim fell to the ground. That is what this Bobby had to cover up at all costs.
What?
Where the victim fell? You mean where she was attacked? What are you talking about? We told you that at the very start, didn't we? On the pavement of the Briar Road. We saw it happen, remember? It was right here, as if anyone didn't already know. That's certainly what everybody has been led to believe. But in fact, that isn't where the victim was stabbed at all. What? What? I'm beginning to wonder where this tumultuous trial will end, Counsel. If that's your session, then the court is dying to know, my Nipponese friend. Where are you proposing that the crime actually took place that evening? Well, that's very easy. It must be here.
Take that!
But that's on the opposite side of the road. I don't understand. On the evening in question, Mr. Garrett's book fell directly down from the open window above. And your bouquet, Miss Beat, never moved at all. What did move was the scene of the crime itself.
Good gracious! Objection!
Perhaps you haven't been listening to the ample testimony the court has heard. But these witnesses both saw the moment the attack took place. That's right, I saw it with my own eyes. It was 5 o'clock in the evening and already dark. There was the typical London fog on the ground. When you saw the incident unfold and ran to the victim's aid, that was actually on the west side of Briar Road. No, that's not true. It can't have been. Constable Beat then arranged for you to be absent for a while by sending you for help. And during the 15 minutes you were away, he transplanted the crime scene. He moved all the things shown in this print, the victim herself, the 4 books. He moved everything, in fact, to the pavement on the east side of Briar Road.
Extraordinary!
But the constable overlooked one thing.
What? What did he overlook?
The bouquet, I presume. Exactly.
The prosecution told the court just a few minutes ago about the discovery of the rose bouquet. Lord Van Zeek said it wasn't noticed until the morning, as it lay where the street lamps cast no light.
Yes, it couldn't be seen in the dark, obviously.
Which is why it was only the bouquet that was found in its original position, on the pavement on the west side of Briar Road. And that is the defense's theory about what really happened that evening. How do you respond? Constable Roly Beat? Very sorry. I didn't mean to nod off again, but I haven't slept properly in a month. Did I miss anything important?
Oh, Roly! It isn't true, is it? What the lawyer said is all lies, isn't it? I know it is, because you're the most upstanding, righteous man I know.
I had a dream. A terrible dream. All the things I did that night. Everything come out. Everything exposed. Only, it seems, it wasn't a dream at all.
Good golly! Order! 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 What on earth is the meaning of all of this?
Oh, Roly, why? Why would you do something like this? Moving a corpse is a criminal offense, isn't it?
Wishing the victim dead should be one too.
Constable, explain yourself. Why would you do this?
As a respected member of Scotland Yard, your duty is to protect the good people of London town. I can't say, sir.
What?
I really am very so sorry about all this. For damaging the yard's reputation, for everything. I have a possible explanation for why, on that particular evening, Constable Beat felt compelled to move the scene of the crime. I can think of one reason.
What? How could you possibly know? You, a foreigner, presuming to understand the mind of a Scotland Yard policeman?
And yet, Lord Van Zieks, it is this foreigner who has uncovered the startling truth of the matter thus far. I believe it would be beneficial to the court to hear this extraordinary young lawyer's theory. Counsel for the defense, if you please. Yes, my lord. Now then, I think you had better show us some evidence. At once, my lord. England, Japan, it makes no difference where you come from. Human emotions are the same. That's so true. That is so true, Ryunosuke. And I think I have a fairly good idea of the feelings behind this man's actions. What gives away the motive for Constable Beat's unthinkable action? Well, I think it's the warrant card. Or is it the... Let me just check this again, because it's expected to walk 20 miles. And when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. So he moved it away from his beat because he had so much to do already. That is why I think it must be the warrant card. I'm gonna present that. I realized that I'm a foreigner in this land, and I have only just arrived from Japan. Which is why all this information about London's so-called bobbies is completely new to me. I've learned that, though honorable, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the world, for example.
Keeping the peace, looking after the citizens on this beat in all kinds of ways. There is no doubt that the young Bobby is charged with a great deal to do each day, certainly.
But for Constable Beat, the day in question was special.
Special? How?
On account of this bouquet, my lord.
Oh yes, it was our very first wedding anniversary.
Constable Beat had worked so hard to be able to afford this simple gift for his wife, and was looking forward to taking her out for a celebratory meal. When he and Mrs. Beat stumbled upon a crime along Briar Road. When he saw that shadowy figure through the fog collapse on the pavement ahead of them. What must have gone through that man's mind? But sir, just on that one particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a Bobby like me. I wanted to show my dear wife how much I care. This is the warrant card that Constable Beat offered to lend to me earlier. Inside, among the rules for patrolling policemen, it says, when a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with the initial investigations and help detectives. Constable Beat. Is that or is that not the reason why you moved the whole scene of the crime that day?
Yes. everything you said. It's all right.
So, that's it? It was all to do with the boundary of your beat?
Oh,
Exactly. To summarize, the incident actually occurred on Constable Beat's beat.
Good gracious! Constable, do you realize the gravity of what you have done?
it was the first time since I became a copper that I'd ever cursed God. Stay close to me, Pat. The criminal could still be lurking somewhere. As we ran over to the scene, I had every intention of doing my duty as a police officer. We've got to report this to the station as quickly as possible. But then, it dawned on me. I realized where we were, where the victim was lying, and what that meant for me. When a crime is discovered on his beat, a policeman must assist with initial investigations and help detectives. Why here? Why did this happen? Why did this have to happen here? And why tonight of all nights? Why? It's a copper's job to guard the scene of the crime, so I told Pat she'd have to go to the nearest police box and fetch whoever was on duty there. It was then, when I opened my mouth to speak, it just came out. I couldn't believe the words that were coming out of my own mouth. This is the next beat to mine, Pat. So you'll have to go to the police box that covers it. Turn right along Mersham Street and then... I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, Constable. I just wanted, just that one night, to take my Patricia out for dinner. Oh, Roly. Just that one night.
You knew that if the incident was on your beat, your evening of celebration would be ruined. And so you decided to move the entire crime scene outside your jurisdiction, just across the street to the east pavement of Briar Road, which falls under the neighboring beat's care.
You see, I thought, well, I was sure the victim was dead, you see.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, of course he did. Otherwise my Roly would never have left the poor woman on the freezing cold pavement.
Ah, I see your meaning now.
But God got me back for my sins, didn't he? That's why I missed the rose I bought for Pat. Oh no, Roly, that was all my fault. I should never have dropped it in such a dark place. I'm so sorry, Roly.
And can you tell us, Constable, how many books did you move from the one side of the road to the other in total?
4 it was, yes, sir. Definitely 4. 3 of them dropped by Mr. Natsume, and the 4th being the one that fell from the window upstairs in the Garrett household, of course.
But what made you place the book in the victim's hand? when all the others were scattered haphazardly around, I mean. Oh, well, sir, that's because that's how I found it.
How you found it? What do you mean?
When we first ran over to the scene, the victim was already holding the book. So, when I moved everything, I made sure it was still in her hand. You're sure it was this book, The Lion's Pride, that the victim was holding? Oh yes, sir. No doubt about it, sir. Interesting. The fourth book's information has been updated in the court record. The book, entitled The Lion's Pride, that was in the victim's hand while Mr. Beat first ran over to see what had happened. I thought it was an open and shut case at the time, you see? There were only the two people at the scene, and Pat and me both saw it happen. However, which way you looked at it, it had to be the fellow who ran off who'd done it, I thought. I couldn't see the harm, really. I didn't think moving it all over the road would make a jot of difference. I suppose this is it for me now. I've had it.
My lord?
Yes, Lord Van Zieks.
I believe that concludes the cross-examination of the witnesses. Constable, you may withdraw.
Yes, sir. Mr. Prosecutor, sir. What will become of my Roly? What will happen to him?
For now, you are free to go home. The police will contact you in due course.
Please, don't punish my husband. This was all my fault. It's because I'm always moaning at him for coming home late. Leave it now, Pat. Let's go home. I'm tired. All right then, my love.
One last thing, Constable.
Sir?
Let this be a lesson to you. In a criminal investigation, every detail matters, however insignificant it may seem to you.
Yes, sir.
Carve that lesson in your mind. And never again make the mistake of tampering with the scene of a crime.
Never again, sir? You mean to say?
Leave now. This trial is not yet over.
Sir!
Well, quite a startling revelation, I must say. Whoever thought of the third party transplanting the entire scene of a crime like that? Indeed, my lord. Nevertheless, there are some immutable facts here. Principally, that the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume, is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime.
Objection!
No, I disagree. Now that we know the true scene of the incident, there is someone else. Another person who could be responsible for the knife in the victim's back. Forgive me for being presumptuous, but I believe the prosecution is probably well aware of this possibility already.
Lord Van Zieks, is this true? Very well. Name the person if you will, and if further investigation is warranted. The prosecution has no objection to the trial continuing. you will name this other person who could have perpetrated the crime.
Well, this time we are going to go with Joan Garridap. But guys, we are nearing the half-hour mark, and I was actually very moved with this whole story. It was very well weaved into the whole plot. I really liked it. I'm sorry to leave you here, but I think that this is a good point to end this episode for the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. If you want to see how things progress, you'll have to tune in next time. See you then.